Warning, I'm in a bad mood due to lack of romance, lack of comedy, and lack of funding. All right, so this middle of September northeast hurricane I have been talking about for months is starting to show up on the models now. And so what we're looking for is it to form around August 31st or the 30th, just like Irma and Florence did. This is off the Neptune opposition. Neptune is a giant gas giant in our solar system and is like the god of the oceans or something. And then the location we're thinking is going to be about up here, and it could be as late as the 23rd, come anywhere as early as the 7th. Okay? Now, we are going over to the models because the models are starting to show that exact date and what might come. And though it seems like the majority of people are like already writing this hurricane season off, I like to look back. And it wasn't until around September 1st that I really started ringing the bells last year. Major hurricane trouble brewing, deja vu, 4 hurricanes in the Gulf Atlantic. And then on the 2nd, which was a full like 11, 12 days before Hurricane Florence made landfall, I started saying this is a potential danger to the East Coast. And every meteorologist on the planet disagreed with me for a week. So the fact that we are 5 days out from last year's ringing the bells period and having a bunch of people go, this hurricane season is going to be no big deal. It's going to be nothing. Don't fall for it. And so we are watching for something that would look like a major possible hurricane coming off the Africa around the 30th. And so here it is. Here's our low right there. You see it? This model has it kind of sitting in place, going backwards, hanging out, gathering size and strength and convection. Look at how big that is. Look how big that is. Look how big that is. Look how big that is. All right. So like if that thing is to somehow, if I'm correct, if it's going to form and then go up the East Coast, yeah, this is going to cause problems. Okay. Now it could be wrong. It's just me all by myself operating on nickels and always under fire. But I'm saying it is definitely good to stay aware, be prepared, and have a plan for now through the middle of October. Okay. And like I said, it's weird how the truth community a lot of times aligns on things. I know BP and J749 are doing what we can to keep everybody updated, but people are saying that like hurricane season's nothing. Dude, you guys haven't been doing this for very long, apparently. So I'm just saying, this is our freaking Katya mid-September, anywhere from the 15th to the 23rd. That could be a major Category 3 hurricane that would threaten anywhere from Virginia all the way up to Boston. Okay? That's a call I've been making for months. I'm sticking with it, and the models continue to show. Look, dude, that's a lot of convection. That's a lot of size. That's a lot of rain. And so you'd be resting all your prayers on wind shear, which is a bit high for now, and African dust, which probably start to die down. And look at our high. If this high breaks down here, then it definitely goes up the coast. So that is what we were watching. Check this out. The GFS Legacy 06Z puts Hurricane Dorian, Category 3 Hurricane Dorian in the Gulf of Mexico on the 4th of September. Check this out. The GFS Legacy 00Z from August 25th put Hurricane Dorian as a Category 3 in the Gulf of Mexico as a Category 3 hurricane on about the 4th. And so Dorian is the one to watch right now. Yes, there is a lot of African dust. Yes, there is a lot of wind shear. But this thing still looks like a beast. And based on my gas giant Neptune opposition, and all the gas giants on the same side, planetary angular orbital momentum theory, that exterior pressure from outside of our planet affects these things. And so, if you are in its pathway from here all the way to the United States, it's best to stay aware of this thing. Because as with Hurricane Florence, for a full week, 99.9% of all meteorologists were like, you don't need to worry about it. And so all I'm saying with this thing is everybody needs to stay aware. Because we got hit by 6 hurricanes in the last 2 years. We've already been hit by Barry. And there's no reason to let your guard down for the next 10 weeks. Unless you want to. That's your thing. So I believe it is a tropical storm right now. They expect it to intensify to a hurricane and then start to depreciate, bringing some rain and wind threats to Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. But I would be prepared for a worser case scenario. All the models agree the worst thing this could be is a Category 1. But even a Category 1 now would do damage to Puerto Rico. So we will definitely be watching. And so if we start to see, which would be like a week from now, the super heat up period, then we could have, as I predicted, a hurricane possibly in the Gulf, possibly along the East Coast, and then possibly going up the Pacific side of Mexico. And so the real It's Lit zone starts in September, and anything ahead of that would just be more problematic and problems to deal with. So you can definitely see Africa is starting to get a rapid intensification. I have no idea what this thing is even doing. You got your dry air here, but this thing is almost wrapped in dust. This thing is almost wrapped in dry air. Yet it is still fighting and developing and kicking ass. So I would not sleep on Dorian. If you are in the Antilles, Puerto Rico, any of the Caribbean islands, and even for the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, and the eastern United States, I wouldn't sleep on this thing. Am I saying it's going to rapidly intensify to a hurricane and do damage to Puerto Rico or the coast? No, I'm not. I'm saying, yeah, there's a chance it could happen. Like the models in the Legacy are showing, it could sneak past all these, even if it just remains a small low, and then redevelop in whether the Gulf or near the East Coast where the conditions are more favorable. The big X factor will not only be the Azores high, the African dust, and then the wind shear. So, and I think they might all be correlated. Anyway, tell your kids try not to get addicted to romance. It could be the most damaging, deadly drug ever. Oh, look at all those clouds. So you still got that low that's kind of hanging out, developing by the Gulf. We still got the low we're watching, which everybody expects to develop, but then get pushed out to sea. So there's just like a 3% chance of curving back in. And then we were watching this bad boy. And so, I guess we got like 3-4 days, but I will be watching this thing nonstop. I don't like the looks of it, and my heart is with Puerto Rico. Even though I've never been there, I'd like to go someday. And so, yeah, now's the interesting time. And so I've been talking about this hurricane season all year, and now everybody's like, yeah, it's not going to be that big a deal. And so I'm saying this, the next week, like a week from now, is when we'll step up another notch. Let me show you a chart. I made a chart for you. Okay, this shit is based off the Eris alignment. Remember, Eris is the planet that got Pluto demoted. So the Eris alignment was in April, and then the Eris alignment is in the middle of October. And so the severe weather kind of climbs and peaks around April, and then it descends in its all wacky wildness and hits a low in July. And then so now we're starting to pick back up again. and the very weird wild weather. And so we're going to see the severe weather increase through the end of August, all the way through September, all the way up into the middle of October. Okay, that is exactly how I'm looking at it. And so we're right on course. And so we've been in this zone for almost 2.5 months now. So people are like, hey, no big deal, man. Things are calming down. I think we might even see a early September West Coast, United States of America, California, or Canadian hurricane or large earthquake, 7.1 or higher. And that would really wake people up. Although usually the internet will then just magnetize you to be angry. So when you do wake up, they're like, here, come to us. We'll tell you who to blame. And you can just yell at people and call them names. And you'll be a real crusader. All right. So this is exactly like, so we are here. This is why everybody's like, yeah, no big deal. And then in the beginning of September, when it'd be like, oh shit. And then that's when like the real 6-week run starts. Okay. So yeah. And I figured that the Neptune alignment off of, we had a 968 millibar land hurricane in March that devastated Nebraska. No scientist, no meteorologist can explain how we had a basically category 2 hurricane over land for several days in the middle of winter or spring, however you want to call it. Nobody can explain it. And so the way I've tried to explain it, it's of the Neptune and Eris opposition. And that with all the gas giants on the same side and the whole Planet 9 complex and everything, and Eris all over here, everything is greatly tilted out of balance, which puts a lot of extra pressure on us. And this was from the March storm. And so we were on this side of the Eris and Neptune alignments during the March storm, and we will be on this side in September and October. So the storms we will see will be worse, in my opinion. And Mother Nature's already starting to pre-soak the grounds that might get hit. We'll have to start watching river levels again. You know, Florida's been getting a whole lot of rain. Alabama had flooding the other day. So whatever's happening here, and this is a spot I was talking about in January for some reason, that like, this is a great spot of interest. I wouldn't be surprised if South Texas, Mexico border at some point saw some cyclonic activity. And then we have what I believe will be the Cat 5 hurricane that will come about here in October. We got Dorian to watch. It's little, but a fighter. And outside of danger to the islands, if this thing makes it past the islands and still has a low, then it has another chance to form and go either way. I don't know the location of Dorian yet. And I don't think Dorian is the Neptune opposition hurricane. Pretty sure this one, or it was the one that I was showing you earlier. And so, yeah, we got a lot of reasons to watch. It is the last week of One Crazy Summer 2019. All right. And so, if you like my work, appreciate all it. I don't know, maybe everybody won't really appreciate it until after it turns out I'm right. Or maybe I'll be wrong. I can stop doing weather. I used to kiss girls before I did weather. God, that was great. Women, Jesus Christ, everybody's so fucking sensitive these days. Crap, I tried not to cuss. Was talking about, oh yeah, so your cards, about a week from now, will be lit. So now is a great time to send in those cards. Put a smile on my face when shit gets dicey. And then, like, the whole truth community is just like a weird throat cut. Everybody competing. But the good news is a lot of people are like, hey, there are going to be no hurricanes. So I'm still like, yeah, hurricanes. Have a plan. Be prepared. Be ready. Because when it starts, it's on. Oh. I would like to thank Tawny and Ricky Fain. I thanked Ricky, I don't know, like 5 days ago, but I guess he didn't hear it and got mad. I guess I could go back and find it for you, Ricky. But I've been thanking everybody every day that comes through, I think. All right, so yeah, I'll keep watching. I'm kind of grumpy today. I miss my car. I want to go for a Sunday drive. Anyway, so yeah, I expect it's going to be a kind of a crappy week just for like the hurricane, because people can be like, yeah, don't worry about it. Although Dorian could strengthen a little more and people could take it more seriously, I will be watching this thing like a hawk. I'm not trying to get fear levels up, but I don't like Dorian. And some things are showing this stalling out. Like, we're about to get back into the crazy times. Do I need to show you the freaking chart again? I don't even have it up. But like I'm saying, we had those two storms in March and then April at the Neptune and Eris opposition. So I've been saying for 6 months, I think these storms would be worse. And so I'm sticking by that. We're almost there. So everybody be ready. All right. Stay cool. God bless everyone.